and welcome to my session today. The title of this session is The Ultimate Guide to Retaining More Members. My name is Richard Gott and I'm a membership sector champion. I run the MemberWise network, and for the past 21 years I've worked in a number of leading membership bodies at a senior level. So I've been the director of membership for the Royal College of Psychiatrists. I've worked for the Law Society and continue to do a number of activities with other leading membership bodies. So hopefully I've got the credentials to kind of show that I know what I'm talking about here today. So I'll get on with the presentation, The Ultimate Guide to Retaining More Members. So in terms of setting the scene, I think it's quite important to start off with a bit of a killer fact. Ultimately, it costs up to 8 times more to recruit a new member than it does to retain an existing member. So because of that, it's much more effective for membership organisations to retain rather than to exclusively recruit new members. So there's got to be some key assumptions with that. So basically, we're going to say that the assumption is that your organisation has got a member engagement strategy in place, that you've got a member engagement plan that will enable you to deliver on that strategy, and that you've got appropriate internal resource to actually make that activity happen. You need to be relevant as an organisation. So the proposition that you've got, there's an appetite for it, or you can create that appetite. And also there are appropriate benefits that will be of value to your current and prospective members. Also an audience, so that they'll purchase membership, they'll join, they'll renew, they'll want to engage with your organisation. And also the ability to report on core metrics back to the organisation so that you can track growth as you go. There needs to be an ability to action change as well. So you need to have the authority to be able to improve and develop membership related content. There also needs to be a fit for purpose website. And surprisingly, that wasn't the case even up to a few years ago. We need to have appropriate marketing materials that we've got at our disposal to be able to actually deliver on effective campaigns. And we also need to have supportive stakeholders who will help us to do or to amplify our activity. And ultimately that will drive advocacy. The more advocacy you can achieve within your organisation, the more impact you can have and the more you can amplify that proposition without drawing on internal resource. So let's start with some averages. It's quite good to work out where your organisation perhaps might be with other membership organisations. So the key figure that I've got that I'd like you to remember today is ultimately, I'll give you that in a couple of seconds. Let's just frame it first. So we surveyed 5,500 membership professionals. So that gives you a view of the audience where we got these figures from. We had a 7% response rate. So that means that the findings of this are statistically significant. However, we do have some caveats. Not all membership bodies are the same. And also membership figures, or certainly retention figures, will have an impact depending on external environment, competition, and other factors. This is the figure that I want you to remember today, 86%. That's the average member retention rate for membership organisations in the UK. So if we look at those averages by type, those organisations with an individual membership, their average was around about 85%, and corporate organisations was slightly higher at 88%. By organisation type, again, if you look at the different types of membership organisation, 89% was with trade associations, which was the best, 85% with professional bodies, 83% with donation charities, 82% with consumer and leisure, and 82% with business associations. The real variable one compared with all of these types was the cultural membership organisation, a 45% retention rate. And those are typically organisations where memberships are gifted and perhaps maybe seen as more disposable. So a little bit of care with that figure should be taken. So a lot of membership organisations in the UK, unfortunately, are flatlining. And basically flatlining means when recruitment is actually equal to member attrition. So ultimately, they're not growing, they're not going up, they're not going down. Some organisations are seeing decline, particularly with the current climate, with what's happened with COVID. And that's when recruitment is actually lower than attrition. And that really in the medium to long term is not sustainable and is something that we really should try to avoid. So how can we optimise member retention? I've got a few ideas for you here today. So basically start at the top. And this is where a number of membership organisations really don't really just don't get this. Membership needs to be visible in your vision, mission, and objectives. And I've given an example here from the Association of Colleges. So in terms of the vision, this is their vision: great colleges transforming lives and communities and meeting employer needs. The mission: to champion and support the sector by enhancing colleges' reputation. And their objectives, very clear: set the agenda for positive policy changes, develop a high profile and strong reputation, and deliver support and advice, and be sustainable. So what we want the future to look like is very clear. What we're here to do is very clear. And the things we're going to achieve to make that happen are clear. And this isn't the case for all membership organisations. So definitely take a look at your vision, mission, and your objectives. Now, the other thing we need to do is ensure that member value drivers are met through membership. So I'll give you some examples here today that you can think about. So a driver for membership might be people join your organisation because they want help and support. Therefore, you need to provide it. It might be that they join because they want to enhance their knowledge and skills. You need to enable that activity to happen. Perhaps it's linked to career and work. You need to visibly make it happen. So, for example, from a career perspective, you might be able to help them with career progression. You need to show that that's the case. It may be access to a particular activity, and through membership, you can make that happen, almost like a gatekeeper role. Representation might be a big thing, particularly with trade unions. We do see that as a key driver. And ultimately, reducing problems and effort. It might be that your organisation simply makes life easier. Safety and protection are another one that we see amongst the unions. Health and well-being, particularly in the current climate, might be something that your organisation provides, but it needs to be articulated clearly. It could be that providing connections and a sense of belonging is also a driver, so that really does need to be evidenced. Supporting individuals' missions, what they want to do in life, it might be that that is something that's delivered through membership. So definitely make it clear that that's what you're doing. And also when it comes to interaction and ownership of that. Enhanced status is a very typical one from a professional body perspective, that you're rising people above the rest, making them gold standard. Actually make it clear that you're doing that and show how that can actually take place through membership. It could be a reduction in financial costs. You're reducing the costs to your members. Therefore, membership is actually, from a transactional perspective, quite a nice thing to have. So make it clear how much you're saving those members. I want to touch also on what value is not. And typically with membership organisations, what we've done over the years is we've provided a massive, big box of member benefits. And what we've done is assume that because we're providing lots of benefits, the value's there. Well, the trouble is that's not the case. What we found is that actually sometimes membership organisations are providing things that they really should stop doing. And as organisations, that's sometimes quite difficult. So basically what we really should be doing is actually providing a smaller list of benefits that are value driven and that the member actually wants, rather than just a massive box of tricks. And a good example of that might be a membership guide that's just full of things. Actually, a smaller number of items that are of high worth is definitely something that's worth considering. The other thing we need to try and do is make membership feel like the norm. So through demonstrating value, the idea of the world without membership, that's not a good thing. So through our messaging, that's certainly something to consider. Value is also provided in a tangible way and an intangible way. So I want to quickly give you some examples before I finish up today. So in terms of the actual tangible side of things, let's look at the National Trust. So if you're a member of the National Trust, you get free parking, low cost family days out, and ultimately you can say that you used your membership perhaps 10 times a year. So from a transactional perspective, there's value there. So when it comes to renewal, it can perhaps be a no-brainer. When it comes to intangible though, and this is where it gets a little bit more difficult, you're actually looking at things that aren't so measurable. So providing support and what that organisation represents, that might be part of it. You might belong because you think it's the right thing. It might be something that you love or you feel close to, and measuring that can be quite difficult. Also, being part of an amazing organisation might be a strong one, and specifically with the National Theatre, very much the intangible benefits of membership are there, and people who belong perhaps will always be a member. So two very different approaches to membership there. And the types of benefits that are offered from a tangible perspective are quite clear: priority booking, discounts, for example, no booking fees. But when it kind of comes with other things, it might be supporting their aims. It might be protecting. The two of these need to be balanced in order for you to optimize member retention. So please do think about these things. So in terms of my time here today, I've only got a few more minutes with you. So what I just want to do is finish up with signposting some other resources that are available to you to enable you to optimize member retention. The first is our member engagement toolkit, where we codified how to better engage with members. So that's available via MemberWise Connect, which is our online professional community. All of this information you can get from memberwise.org.uk. Member Value 2025 was a document we created to help better articulate member value. We touched on that today, and there's a lot more information in more detail on the Connect library. The Ultimate Guide to Retaining More Members, which is the basis for this presentation, we've actually got as well. So please do take a look through that. And as a network, we provide discussion and benchmarking opportunities. So please do feel free to participate. We have online courses, we do webinars, lots of different activity there. And ultimately, we'd like you to get more involved. So that's my ultimate guide to retaining more members. I'd like to thank Fitwise for asking me to come and speak today, and I hope that you've enjoyed my presentation. Thank you very much.